on this computer. There we go. And let me tell the people in the chat, I'm going to record the participants and share after the fact. But please give me your questions. Okay. Anyway, something to figure out for tomorrow. Okay, so and Sean, how about you? Where are you on your filmmaking
I
journey?
studied criminal justice in school. Filmmaking has always been a huge passion, so I've only ever been able to do it on the side. So I've never had fancy equipment or anything like that, but I've always tried to make use with my iPhone or GoPro, and I've always just loved telling stories that make people smile. So the chance I get, I either force my friends or entice my friends with free dinners if they star in whatever idea I have and we collaborate, go out and make a film, or our dog does something funny and it just an idea festers and becomes something I can't stop thinking about until it becomes a movie. And then that's how I ended up with this.
Well, I loved your film. It was so fun, and it's such a great way to start off the little film festival. Um, so then I also kind of want to know what inspired the films that you created, and whoever wants to take it. And are they perhaps sort of a shorter treatment that might become a longer piece? Whoever wants to jump in.
I think Michael wants to go first.
Yeah, there we go. Well, actually, thank you. It was just the germ of an idea. It was a 6-page screenplay, and did a few rewrites, nothing major. And the goal is just to have an outing after the pandemic. That's why the whole thing was outdoors. And we shot it in September of last year. And I basically wrote it with the idea that there'll be a lot of loose ends, that if we wanted to add more to it, we could. Either it could be the beginning of a longer film, or just a series of episodes, that basically don't go any more than 5 minutes. I mean, the goal was to make a series of short films. Sort of the Quibi model, where you could watch it on your phone, or you could watch. And a lot of people are doing that, and I just the idea of time travel is always fun. It's just always a kind of a fun topic. And I had was reading. We had just gone to the Van Gogh exhibit, and the whole concept of Van Gogh dying, never realizing his importance to the art world. And then, I started doing research, and there's a lot of people who who gain their fame after they're gone. And so that just, one thing led to another. Okay, the guy that invented time travel is about to get hit by a car, so everybody thanks him. Thank you for this wonderful gift that you gave us. And then he walks across the street and gets hit by a car. But at least they know that they are, that people are grateful for what he's done. But he's also getting hit by a car every 5 minutes.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's nice or it's a nightmare.
Well, he doesn't remember it, so
Well, yeah, that's what the story is implying.
right. No, it's very fun and extremely well done. So, and I recognize Josh, so
Oh,
I
Josh
love
is
that.
amazing. I just saw Josh in the phlebotomist
Oh, at first stage.
at first stage. It was
Yeah.
really good. It was
Okay. We'll have to get out and see it.
yeah, I
Some
think
of our local theaters, you guys.
right. I think either tomorrow or the next day is the last day.
Oh, okay.
but it's really good.
Okay. How about Helia? What was the inspiration for this film?
Well, if I want to be very honest with you, my friend and I came up with this concept in just about 20 minutes. And the reason for that was that in the summer, I was back in the Middle East, and at the time, it was at the peak of the pandemic over there. And there was no vaccine available for people, so the morale was pretty low, and we decided to do something creative and for no budget, pretty much, or very, very small budget. So we came up with three ideas that majority of, or almost all the stories are going on either in a park, somewhere outdoor, in a park or on a rooftop or something, because people honestly wouldn't let us into their homes. They didn't feel safe for the crew members to get into their homes. So this just came along. We had very limited budget, limited equipment, limited time, and everything. And I had to come back quickly to US for my education. So this is one of the movies we made back in the summer. But the concept behind it, the thought we had is that the concept of ageism in some cultures, mostly Eastern cultures, is somehow self-imposing. You know, I remember like my grandparents like used to say, you know what, it's too late for me to do this. It's too late for me to learn this new skill. It's too late for me to fall in love again. It's too late for me to go back to school. And we just wanted to play with that concept and say, you know what, never say never. It's never too late. So that was part of it.
I actually love when things come just like you see a location or it's just a quick idea, and then from that you flesh out this whole lovely, end result. So that's great.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. And how about you, Sean?
Similar to Helia, when the pandemic first hit, my wife had gotten a dog a couple months prior to it, and I wanted to kind of cheer her up and a lot of her friends, and I thought it'd be funny to shoot a film that was ironically like doing things in the house but told from the perspective of the dog. So I made this little short film, not thinking much of it. People loved it so much, I decided to follow it up with like 1 year later, what's he up to? And now he's all skinny and in shape and everything. And I was just making a snack in the kitchen one day, and he perked his head up as soon as he heard the snap of the banana and just darted right to me. Scared me a little bit because I turned around, he was right there, as he usually is when he hears food. And again, like a small idea starts to fester. I'm like, this can be something really funny. And then I just started writing down notes and started filming one weekend.
Well, I love the way you use text in the film to be like almost like a character, which was just fun.
Yeah, that mostly was all inspiration from I think some of the Avenger films when it was big and splashy text, like just like really emphasize what was happening. So it really sold the comedic aspect to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Dana Galloway asked, Helia, where did you find the older gentleman in your film?
The older gentleman, we auditioned a few people. They were mostly family members, but this gentleman, we were lucky to find him because I think his features and everything kind of matched the story.
Mm-hmm.
And he was pretty animated, which is what we wanted for this project. He was generous enough to give us his time for, as I said, for very little amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually very helpful.
So just from an audition, just putting out a notice, or?
Yes, in because this is a very traditional city, and I think the gentleman had done some theater work before. Back in his youth. The most recent activities he had was mostly teaching to kids for NGOs and charity. So he was actually pretty excited to work with us. But we got lucky, as I said, because I was losing hope. If we had just 2 days and we couldn't find the person we liked.
What city did you guys shoot it in?
It's the city that's called Isfahan. The name is Isfahan, and it's a very traditional city with many landmarks. If we couldn't do it in like the capital because it doesn't look the same.
No, I love the city, being able to see that architecture, etc. It's just a feast for the eye. So I have just one other question, and that I love hearing the stories behind the making of, and the things like the surprises or the crazy things that happen when you're making a film. So if both of you, I mean, all three of you, if you have something you want to share of, some crazy fun story from behind the scenes.
Well, actually, I've done a few films, some short films, and there is always a problem somewhere. Somebody gets sick, the weather isn't cooperating, things don't happen that should happen. But for some reason, Thank You was perfect. I mean, straight from beginning to end. Well, we did have one problem. We were at a restaurant in Roslyn and Virginia, and they were going to open up at 6 a.m. for us, and they didn't show up. So everybody had to walk down to the Safeway to go to the bathroom for about an hour and a half. But that was literally the only problem. Once everybody got there, I will never be that lucky again.
That's actually quite amazing.
Yeah, we were amazed at how few problems we had and how tight the actors were, and it just everything worked.
That's great. How about you, Sean? Any fun stories?
I have, I think, two that come to mind. One was we live near Reagan Airport in DC, and there's a long strip of grass where if you go play soccer or have a picnic there, you can always see the airplanes take off and they just go right over your head. And I really wanted that shot to signify that he's going past and he's traveling the world. But it took us maybe an hour or two, because we had to constantly wait for a plane to come in or take off, and then having to run across. Sometimes he wouldn't chase the ball properly or he'd get distracted. And then just the one take that we didn't really think he would do anything, we kind of did this like look back. It was like, oh, that's so cute and perfect. We're going to keep that one now. We thought that would be a blooper one. And then the final scene where he's in the banana boat, and we had to buy so many, like, we looked like a crazy person when we went to the grocery store because we had a box of bananas. It was the hardest thing to keep him still because he was surrounded by all these yummy treats, and he kept trying to lunge for everything, no matter how much we tried to keep him settled. But eventually we got it. Yeah.
I'm transcribing everything you're saying because they can't really hear you. So that's why you hear the tippy tippy.
Let me know if I need to speak up or anything.
No, it's not that. There's some... Anyway, I've got you recorded, so they'll be able to listen to you later. It's an adventure.
Of course.
How about you, Helia? Any crazy fun story?
By the way, you're doing great. Well, I can tell you some of the challenges we faced. I think one thing we didn't anticipate as much was the heat in a desert climate. And when you are filming on a rooftop, the temperature was probably 120 degrees, and all the ACs are on top of the building. So, and that building had quite a bit of different tenants. So we had to talk to them one by one and ask them to turn off the ACs for a little while. They would give us some like an hour or so, and then as soon as somebody would come in, they didn't know what the story is. The first thing they did, turn on the air conditioner. And then another thing was that the poor gentleman who was playing the role, he didn't have much hair. So, and his skin was completely peeled off the very first day. So in the middle of the night, poor guy had to go to the hospital, and then we had to use a lot of makeup to just cover it up.
I
But
was actually thinking about that. I was like, he's
yeah,
not
you
wearing
can,
a
that's why you can
hat.
see the reflection and all the redness. So poor guy. I mean, like, he forgave us though.
Oh, that's good. Let me just finish writing. I had to go to the hospital. Oh no. Anyway, this is so wonderful to have you here, and I so enjoyed watching your films, and they're going to be shown tomorrow. I'm going to take the self-harm video out from the YouTube stream just so it doesn't, mess things up, and put it on Vimeo. But people will be able to see your films virtually and also in person at a film screening place in Bethesda near DC. So more people will be seeing your films, I promise. And I appreciate your time. And the people in the chat said thank you very much for what you've done and sharing it with us. And I think, unless there's something else you want to share, then maybe I will.
I just want to thank you for letting us being part of your festival, your beautiful festival. Is it your first year?
It is. It is.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
that's why we have these technical issues. So
I think
Anyway.
great. Thank you for having
You're
us.
honored.
I will be there tomorrow, so I'll see you in person.
oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I wanted to see it was very well organized, considering you had to do it online, and this was your first festival. I was looking at it as this is great the way you've got this organized.
It was great until YouTube shut it down after the self-harm, and then this Q&A problem. But
just the process worked really well. So
Yeah.
Congratulations.
thank you, and we'll figure it all out ultimately. So thank you. I'm going to take us to intermission. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.